Hi, I'm Dan Schmitt. I do a motorcycle racing TV show, Team Chicago Challenge. My email is teamdan45@gmail.com. Our website is teamchicago.tv. We're at MCC, Phillips Park, Illinois, got the Norton annual vintage bike show. And I got my Triumph in the show. We'll see what happens. I cleaned it up pretty much, and but it is an authentic race bike, and they have a class for competition motorcycles. So I'm going to look at some of the bikes. I'm going to watch the judging at the end of the day, and I'm going to see to talk to some of my old friends and see what's going on right here, MCC, Phillips Park, Illinois. MCC is on St. Charles Road, just a little bit west of Route 83. Now we're going to look at some of the motorcycles. This class here is European motorcycles, other types. We see two lovely Ducatis. They're probably both 996 twins, cafe racers, very nicely restored. Now we spot a MotoGuzzi, California. This is MotoGuzzi building a cruiser bike to appeal to the American market. Right next to it is a 850 Eldorado, and this bike is jogging a memory for me, and we'll talk about that a little later. V-twin with a drive shaft, very nice. And now we're looking at an MV Agusta, 4-cylinder, 750, nicely restored. This is before disc brakes became popular, so this bike has got 4 leading shoe front brake to show its racing heritage. Very nice. Then we got a military Bianchi, Italian built, nicely restored, something you don't see very often. Next to that is a 175 Modella, single cylinder. And then a Roberta 1000, Italian built. But this is the showstopper as far as I'm concerned. It's a NSU 501cc single cylinder, 1928. Really, really a lovely restored motorcycle. And now we're looking at Japanese under 400 cc's. First there was a Z50 Honda, very, very popular. 250 Yamaha, and a Honda 4-cylinder, maybe a 350, a 400 4-cylinder Kawasaki. Cafe racer, really, really nice. A 400 Yamaha YZ400. And now Japanese motorcycles over 400 cc's. Got a Kawasaki 1000, a single cam Honda 750, a nice Gold Wing. Shows that the gas tank is under the seat. A very nice Honda CB 1100, 1982. Then we got another 750 Honda an 1100 four-cylinder Suzuki, then a Kawasaki three-cylinder 750, another Honda single cam 750 four-cylinder, a Yamaha 650, and then we spot a lovely restored Water Buffalo 750 Suzuki, two-stroke, water-cooled, another bike that brings memories back to me. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And now we're looking at Nortons. This is the Norton Club's show. Some of these bikes belong to the members. It's a very nice looking 72 Commando. Now we're looking at a 74, no chuck hit, a 67 Atlas, I believe. A nice 73 Commando 750. And then a 72 Interstate. Could be an 850. Now, why am I bringing up the Water Buffalo Suzuki water-cooled three-cylinder two-stroke? And then the MotoGuzzi. Well, it turns out that my friends, Torello Tacchi and the late great Phillips, raced the MotoGuzzi like this in a 24-hour race. They also raced Nortons. They also raced the Water Buffalo two-stroke Suzukis. So this is MotorCyclist magazine, December 1972. Now there was a group of motorcyclists in the Chicago area that called themselves Team Chicago. When I wanted to promote the team racing at Santa Fe Speedway, I went and talked to these guys to let them allow me to use the name Team Chicago. The article in this magazine is about Canada's 24-hour race in MoSport. And the first Team Chicago race, riders from Chicago, took place in MoSport in 1971. Right away in this article, they talk about Torello Tacchi from Chicago. This was the original Team Chicago endurance team. They came to race MoSport, which is in Ontario, Canada. They raced a bone stock MotoGuzzi, led the race for 9 hours. They had a spark plug problem, got it fixed, and finished third. So with that great finish, MotoGuzzi agreed to the proposal from Torello and his dad, Albert. They were a dealership for MotoGuzzi. MotoGuzzi provided them with a factory-prepared, bored-out 850 race bike, and this bike was on loan for the 1972 race. This race in 1972 attracted 64 entries. Canada's top road racer, Yvon de Hamel, was brought in to race a 750 Kawasaki three-cylinder two-stroke. Cliff Carr from Massachusetts was invited to race a 500 Kawasaki. A good group of Nortons, 250 and 350 Yamaha race bikes, and a number of four-cylinder Hondas competed. This photo here shows a nighttime pit stop. In the photo, we spot Jovan Dahamo leading during the first hour. The other photo shows the winning 750 Honda using racing cams and a racing exhaust. The next photo shows Jovan Dahamo leading on the number 3 Kawasaki. It turned out that Dahamo and Cars Kawasaki broke their bearing brackets and they ended up in the pits for a while. Torello started the race in 13th position, and after 90 minutes he moved up to 4th overall. Phillips took over and was running a good pace when he dropped the Guzzi in the slow off-camber left-hand turn. This turn took out quite a number of racers. This ended up with a 1-hour pit stop to get the Guzzi running again. Now it was time for John White, the mechanic from Dami Racer, to take the bike out for 90 minutes. He turned it over to Dick Clark, a Norton dealer, and he rode until the sun set in the west. Well, the race continued on to the next day. Jovan Dahamo was back leading. He went around a slower rider on the outside. This slower rider also moved to the outside, and Jovan ran into the hay bales, and that lost him the chance to win. The winning bike was a 750 four-cylinder Honda. Second place went to a twin-cylinder BMW. Third went to another four-cylinder Honda. And fourth place went to another BMW. At the end, there was 4 Hondas, 3 Kawasaki's, 2 German BMWs, and 1 Italian Laverda. So what happened to that special MotoGuzzi? At 9:45 p.m., the MotoGuzzi dropped the valve. In other words, the valve stem broke, and this destroyed the piston and cylinder. It was Team Chicago's second 24-hour race. They survived the race another day. After Torello and his dad rebuilt the engine, they sold this lovely MotoGuzzi to Al Phillips. Let's listen to Al's story. That is Al Phillips on the MotoGuzzi, and he's going to tell us about the special endurance racing MotoGuzzi that Torello Tacchi and Al Phillips raced. Tell me about the Guzzi again now.
Well, this is the one I told you about.
So you and Torello went to Mosport, which is in Canada.
Yeah.
And it was a 24-hour race in 71.
And then we took out...
And you were taking a MotoGuzzi
Eldorado,
which is basically a street bike.
Yeah. And we raced it, and we led for 6 hours, and then it started misfiring. We pulled the plug, stripped the head, got it going again, and we finished third. Guzzi was trying to promote the brand back then, and they got all excited, and they had this bike, and they sent it over for us to race.
So Torello was a MotoGuzzi dealer.
Yeah.
That's back when it was still on Halstead and North Avenue. Yeah,
might have even been before that, when he used to, in Halstead North. You remember?
Halstead North Avenue, right.
Then he moved further west.
Right, then he moved.
Yeah, so they made that bike, and we were racing it, and I was on it, and it seized up, and it went down, got bent up. We got it back to the pits, got it going again, but when it went down, it ingested some dirt in there, and the engine went. So we called them back. We were going to send it back. They said, no, you can sell it. And I bought it.
So they told Torello he could keep the bike.
Just sell it.
And just sell it. Yeah. And you bought it. Do you remember what you paid for it back then? You have no idea?
Not much, I wouldn't think.
Okay.
Maybe a couple of grand.
But this is the only Guzzi race bike ever made.
Well, no, they made a lot of race bikes. Remember the V8? But that's one of a kind, made for that 24-hour race.
For that one race,
I mean, look here. That's where you put the plate.
Oh, yeah.
So it was a good deal. They were enthused about it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was Al Phillips and Torello Tacchi were the first Team Chicago endurance team. I also asked Al what was it like to race in the 1960s, what bikes did he race, and then he's going to show us a couple of the Nortons in his 4410 club. It has now been sold and it's just an apartment building.
You were racing with Torello, racing at, going to Nelson Ledges.
Yeah.
Groton finally started holding races
much later
right?
We go to Nelson Ledges. Where else? We used to go down to Summit, West
Summit
Virginia.
Point, West Virginia, right?
Danville, West Virginia.
Right.
Charlotte, North Carolina.
So Danville was VIR back, which is now Virginia International Raceway.
It was. I think I went to the first race they had at Summit Point when they first built the track.
First built the track, right, right. And what were you racing then? Were you always racing big bikes when you were?
Yeah, I started on Nortons, and then where did I go from there? Suzuki, Ducati.
So you had a water buffalo too?
Yeah.
That you raced with?
Yeah. But I never enjoyed racing two-strokes.
So you liked the Nortons?
I did well on Nortons, even though I was too heavy.
Right,
but
right.
I had a couple of seasons when I went quite well on these things. Yeah.
And now Al's going to tell us about his collection of Norton motorcycles. And what a great collection it is.
This is the overhead cam. This is the International.
Okay, International. So what year would this one been?
This is about a 51.
51. So this is a little bit before the Max came.
No, the Manx 51. When did they come out? Well, I forget when they became International became Manx. There's a Manx up there.
Right.
But if you look here, see its overhead cam. That's what differentiates it. The overhead cam.
Right, the overhead cam on these, right. And the exposed valve springs.
It's got hairpins on it. I think it's got hairpin valves.
Right, right.
But these are really interesting and they're quite valuable. This one here, this was an ES2, which, in fact, they raced one of these at the Isle of Man. It's just a 500 overhead valve, you know, a sort of bike that will plonk around forever. You got a
Overhead valve engine, but push rods.
A push rod.
Push rod engine instead of overhead cam.
Overhead cam.
Right. So, was this that much more expensive?
No, that's much more. That was
much more expensive,
than
right, than these were.
Yeah, that was.
And what year was these? Are we?
That's about a 51.
Right.
This is a 49.
49. Okay. And these were both available. You could have bought them.
Yeah, back then.
Back then, right. And how much did they sell for back then? Were they
Probably a couple of hundred.
But they were the same price as like a Triumph Twin, or a little bit more expensive?
The Twin might have been a bit, because Norton also made a Twin, and they were a bit more expensive. But
right.
We're talking about, I mean, if you look back in 1937, you could buy a brand new bike for, you know, $100.
Right, right.
600. You notice the sidecar lugs on it? Mm-hmm. A good sidecar tug, this one.
So it was a 600cc single.
Yeah.
Overhead valve, push rod engine. Yeah. And what year was this one?
I don't remember. I'm guessing, is it on there?
Yeah, I got it probably here.
Is it 59?
57.
57.
57. Wasn't far off, was I?
Okay.
I bought this one in England. There's another Norton. Dominator.
Okay, so this would have been a twin.
This is a twin.
Were they 600, 650s?
I think it's a 600. I'll have to check it.
Okay.
So I'm getting old. My memory is. There's a good one. That's a Manx.
All right. Now the thing we should mention about the Norton Manx, overhead cam engine.
Yeah.
One Daytona with Dick Clanford.
Yeah, but remember they wouldn't let them race because they would beat the Harleys. And
No,
Harleys
no,
couldn't-
they eventually outlawed him, but he won Daytona in 1950, 51, and 52 or 53, and then they disappeared. And yet when they were outlawed because they were overhead cam engine. So it isn't that the Harleys got faster, just that they took this one out of the race.
What else we got?
All right, we got another Norton here.
It's an Atlas, all restored.
So the Atlas would have been about what year is this one then?
Atlas, what was on there? This is a 750.
750, okay. So this is the feather bed frame.
Feather bed.
So this is before the isolastic,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Frames.
These was vibrate like hell.
but these are the ones you raced, or did you race the later ones?
I raced one of these in the beginning.
Right.
Then when the Commanders came out, I raced those.
And did you like that much better?
Oh, yeah.
The new frame and all that was
Oh,
much
yeah.
better, new suspension?
Well, the odd thing is that they always had, but remember, they had rubber bushings on the swing arm.
Right, right.
And if they weren't, I mean, it could really start wobbling when you come, let's
No,
say
you
you
had
come
it-
out of a turn,
right.
you had to be very careful because they handled great. Unless they were really set up right. And a lot of guys, they take out the rubber bushings and put in bronze ones to prevent that
Right, right,
on the Commando.
right.
But this is, I mean,
But this is the feather bed
Yeah,
frame.
yeah.
Right.
That was my great friend Al Phillips, the late great Al Phillips, motorcycle road racer. And now at the Norton show, we spot a 350 Norton Minx, overhead cam engine. The one that Dick Clanford raced was a 500cc Minx. He won Daytona 3 times on the beach, and AMA banned overhead cam engines, and that's why he only won it 3 times. It's a very lovely 1948 Norton Minx overhead cam single cylinder. And now we're looking at a Botaco Persane 1976. I believe this is a 370cc, very nicely restored. And next to that is a OSA 71 TT Scrambler. When I got my pro license to race 250s at Santa Fe Speedway, this is the bike I bought from A Cycle World. You see the OSA with the orange tank and body work. The TT Scrambler came with the orange and white. The Stiletto came with white with orange. The Stiletto had a 21-inch front wheel. The Scrambler had 19-inch front wheel. And this bike I use for short track and running TTs at Santa Fe Speedway and elsewhere. Now we're looking at a 1981 Honda Mergen ME 125 W2. It was probably a kit that was sold to upgrade the Hondas. Right next to it I spot a 125 Elsinore, and next to that is a 250 Elsinore. I had a chance to race a 250 Elsinore, the vintage motocross, and they were great motorcycles. Now we're spotting a 250 with the rotary valve, Kawasaki in a Champion frame. The bike set up for flat track racing. And right next to it, I spot this bike I have never seen, never even knew they made one. This is a Odaka 3-cylinder 2-stroke. Never ever have I ever even known that they ever built a 3-cylinder. This is way beyond combat wombats, no doubt about it. I have no idea where this bike came from, but Odakas were
Japanese built and distributed through an American distributor. They sold a lot of 125s and 250s, and they were very, very popular entry-level bike back in the 1970s. This is really a special motorcycle. And the last bike in the competition area is my Triumph. 1967 twin, got the 750 route kit. Got a Trackmaster frame. I bought this bike from George Wills. I probably raced this bike in hundreds of races. It was a great day in Villa Park at MCC with the Norton Owners Club. To contact the Norton Owners Club, their website is cnoc.org. Their email is chicagonort@yahoo.com. For Motorcycle Center, it's teammcc.com, teammcc.com. To contact me, and I love to hear from my audience, it's teamdan45@gmail.com. Remember, you can always search on YouTube with Dan Schmitt Motorcycle Racing for great motorcycle racing action, Dan Schmitt Politics, to learn what makes America great. And I highly encourage you to visit the World of Motorcycle Museum. They're in Winamac, Indiana, 4 miles south of North Judson on Indiana Highway 39. But give them a call first at 574-896-3172. It's a great trip and a great collection of motorcycles. To pick up your copy of the Team Chicago History Package, stop at Rich's Yamaha in Lockport, Illinois. But give them a call first at 815-838-8130. Their website is richesyamaha.com. Pick up your copy of the Team Chicago History Package. And if you want to learn everything there is to know about motorcycle racing, there's nothing like going to a swap meet. Here's a few Walnut swap meets: Martinsville, Indiana; Woodstock, Illinois; Morris, Illinois; Shepherdsville, Kentucky; Princeton, Illinois. Go to walnutswap.com, walnutswap.com for more info.